Hello everyone, welcome to your channel Data Science Studio, and today I am going to tell you some of the tips that you can follow to make a successful career as a data scientist and how you can practice these things in your every day-to-day project to become a successful data scientist. So let's get started. So first of all, it is important that whenever a new project starts, you have the understanding of the business objective of the project. What is your end result? What is your goal of the project? That should be the primary focus of your project. You should be asking questions around the project with the business stakeholders, and you should also explore the business domain and do some secondary research on the domain which you are working on. So the first step, which is the kickoff call, we also call it as kickoff call, is very important because that lays the foundation of the whole project, and the kind of questions you ask gives a very good impression to the business stakeholders. After the kickoff call is over, the next important step is data collection and what are the tools needed for the analysis. It is very important to put a brainstorming sessions on what all the different sources of the data. It could be sales data, it could be marketing data, it could be digital data. And you should also focus on what should be the frequency of the data, whether the data is on the daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis. And you should also focus on what all the key tools required for the analysis, whether you need Python, whether you need PySpark, whether you need SQL, or whether you want to work in any kind of cloud-based environment like Azure or Databricks. So a brainstorming session is very important both during the kickoff call and while you are working on the project. The different tools are needed. So data collection is a very important step, and you should be very thorough and you should be very detailed on the different sources of data which are needed for the analysis. Next step is about once the data is collected, it is very important that you are doing some exploration of the data, and that we call it as a feature engineering. And based on the exploratory data analysis, you can create some new features. You can use different ways to visualize and aggregate the data, and you can treat the missing values or the outlier values with different techniques which are available in the statistics, and you can also use feature engineering to create some new features. So these are some of the steps you should diligently follow when you are working with the numerical data or the categorical data. So also a very important step which is in the exploratory phase is converting your data or standardizing your data, because most of your data or the variables or the features are in different scales, and you want to make sure that the scale remains same when you are doing modeling so that it does not affect the model results. And till this stage, your 60% of the project time will be consumed, because most of the time happens or consumed during the kickoff call. Data collection phase is a very crucial step, and then the exploratory data analysis consume a lot of time. And once your data is fully ready for the model, you can pick and choose your ML algorithm based on the target variable. If the target variable is present, you can go for any kind of supervised, or if there is no target variable, you can go for unsupervised technique. Within supervised, you can go for regression or classification based on the nature of your project. Always, it's a very good practice to split your data set into train and test, and on top of it, applying cross validation on the trained data to improve the accuracy of the model. And it is also recommended that for hyperparameter tuning, so some of the algorithms, they take hyperparameters into the model, which is a user driven input, and there are algorithms which kind of optimize the hyperparameters like grid search CV or randomized search CV. You can use such algorithms to tune the hyperparameters and update your model results. Always keep your test data separate. Do not touch your test data, because test data is the one on which you will be testing your model accuracy or you will be scoring your model. So always keep test data separate, and the ideal split is 20 to 30% of your data should go into test. Once your model is developed, it is very important that you get a sign off from your business stakeholders and technical manager stakeholders, and it is very important to move the model into production so that it can be used real time. So in such a step, when we are working with a big companies or product based companies, there are ML engineering team which will automate the model pipeline. So model pipeline is nothing but your data is coming from the source and all the pre-processing steps are happening in a streamed pipeline, and then a model will be developed and deployed into the production. So once the model is deployed into production, a web service is created, which is nothing but a REST API, which will be used to make predictions on the real-time data. And based on the predictions from the model, we can take actions based on the model results. Always don't forget to refresh your model on timely basis to avoid any kind of data drift or model rot, we say it. So always make sure that you are refreshing your model on the regular basis. So this lecture, I just wanted to show you the different steps you should ideally follow to become a successful data scientist. In our data science studio training modules, we will be covering all these things in very much detail. So stay tuned and stay connected for our upcoming courses on machine learning, deep learning and cloud computing. And please do share your feedback in the comments. Please subscribe, like and comment your channel, and stay tuned and stay connected. Thank you.